I came to information science because it's the most exciting place to be.
Computing has not just become a way to perform big calculations and crunch numbers, but
All these parts of humanity and the world are being transformed by technology.
very much in the spirit of information science, you really need to ask both about the computational challenges and the human challenges.
So one thing that I get asked, and I'm sure you get asked all the time, is what is information science?
People in academia are very interested in what field something belongs to, right? They see something very exciting in the world and they say, oh, I wonder what field that's in, right? And I think people out in the world are less worried about that. They think there are these exciting problems to be solved and they're less concerned which field solves them. And there's clearly something very exciting happening in the world, which is the way in which people are able to come together, communicate, remain in touch over their lifetimes. All of that is now being mediated by the internet, the web, social media, technology in general in ways that just were never possible before.
Information science covers both the technical side of things and it provides sort of background and knowledge about social behavior. You know, you would start with the technology and then be like, oh wait, there's these people using it. And for me it was the same, where we're looking at human behavior and then start to realize that the human behavior is immersed in a technologically mediated world now.
We're teaching the same subject matter, but from different perspectives, and it's really the students who are benefiting. This semester I'm co-teaching this large interdisciplinary class called Networks. One word, because we thought, if it has a one-word title, maybe that conveys the scope of something where a lot of ideas come together.
This semester I'm teaching an upper-level seminar on deception in the networked age. We look at how deception is being transformed by technology, but also the way that people are adapting to being able to lie in a world where everything we say is recorded.
The idea of networks, it's really trying to provide some of the science behind these online networks that we experience, behind things like the web, behind Google, behind Facebook, and to explore some of the computational and social and economic principles that are really at work behind these systems. The fields we come into contact with that we get to draw on in economics and computer science and sociology and the parts of the humanities that have been brought to bear about that. It's sort of like making this very complex recipe where you take all these fascinating ingredients and you boil them down, and we somehow felt like, yes, the flavors are going to blend.
It's almost unfair. We get to play with all these ideas from all these different disciplines and bring them together on these problems that face people in their everyday life. I think an example of one of those things is privacy. It's hard to think of privacy now without thinking of all of these things that are information science, from the psychological, technical, legal, and sociological. It's one of those great examples of something that you can't not think about from an information science point of view. Coming to information science was important for me as a psychologist. I'm looking at how, say two people are talking to each other, not thinking about that, say, the way text messaging worked was a combination of how, say, Motorola thought texting should take place and regulators in Washington, D.C. thought it should take place. And then there's the economic model. So to me, it's just really about raising the microscope up and down in these different ways. And we've made some really important hires in that sort of world of the structure and the policy.
There's a lot of plans to be hiring both in Ithaca and also in the New York City Tech campus, which really I think is a very, very exciting opportunity for Cornell in so many dimensions.
Our department's 2 years old, and as a program it's 10 years old. So we're really brand new.
By training, I'm not an information scientist and you're not an information scientist. None of the people teaching these classes, with maybe one or two exceptions, are really trained as information science people.
Students actually are going to be deciding and determining what this is, which is a little bit unnerving for them, but to watch them go out in the world.
Xiaomei Wu, for example, and
right.
Looking at the role of social media in the Arab Spring, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just an amazing example of where this technology enabled people to come together in ways that really hadn't been possible.
They're having this massive impact on the world because they have that sort of information science mentality and background. And
yeah,
it's very exciting. The future,
right?
The future looks bright.
Predictions are especially hard.
Yeah, right.